Hey, Jeremy here from Lad SEO. In this video, I'm walking through a website audit of US Cutter to show a little bit about what's going on with their site and how they're very likely leaving millions of dollars on the table by not optimizing specific collection pages correctly. And this process I'm going to show you works extremely well whether you have a large established website or a brand new brand. And to show you that, here's a couple examples of projects I've worked on. You can see here the keyword ranking growth and traffic growth over time. And this is a DR26 website. So nothing major from that perspective and massive growth in terms of keywords and traffic. And this is a high ticket B2B website here. Second one here, this is another website, low DR. Keywords jumped up 8,000 in the past 6 months. Organic traffic up significantly as well. This site basically went from hardly any traffic at all to now getting thousands of visitors every single month. And then lastly, this works on large websites and large brands as well. You can see a more established DR here, tons of new AI mentions, organic traffic and keywords going up into the right, moving up significantly here. So like I said, this process worked extremely well. And I want to walk through how I would look at this from this perspective for a site like US Cutter. Now, first thing to do is look here very briefly at DR to see what's going on here. DR54, relatively strong. But again, this always is related to the other websites that are attempting to rank for the keywords you want to rank for. So 54 is strong by itself potentially if your competitor sites are in that same ballpark. If you're up against 80s and 90s, then you have a huge gap there to work on. So other things to look at then, looks like organic keywords and traffic are on the slight decline here over the past month. And looks like over the past few months actually on a slight decline. So let's look at what's going on here and see what should be done to help them. First thing I like to do is in the keyword chart here is to filter this to just look at US. And again, if the website or if your target market is outside the US, then absolutely look in your specific area here. And then next thing to look at is intent. I always like to look at commercial and transactional intent to start, because the whole point of optimizing your website and getting more traffic is to drive more revenue, not just to get traffic. So then let's sort by search volume per month here. And now we have 37,804 keywords to look at. But I also see a lot of forum, or at least some forum topics here. So let's filter this out to remove URLs containing forum. We do not want those results. And now we should trim this down a little bit. Now we have 22,280. Now, what I had looked at first was DTF printer. And if you look here, looks like 83,000 people search this every month. So first, let's do a quick look and see who's ranking for this and what they're doing. So we have Amazon at number 1, DR96, HeatPress Nation, DR53. So this site is actually stronger. If you look here again, US Cutter 54. So 54 is stronger than 53. Now this is just another case of DR is not, first of all, it's not an official ranking metric. Second of all, it's not the only factor that goes into play with whether or not you're going to rank for a keyword. And then we have Reddit here, Swing Design, DR48. So again, looks like US Cutter is stronger than them. YouTube, Epson, 84, another YouTube, Cold Essie, 53, and then Pro Colored is 53 as well. So the site here, US Cutter, is actually stronger than almost every single site ranking on page 1 that is not a major brand or a YouTube or Reddit. And the biggest key here to look at from a very quick initial perspective is always going to be the target keyword itself and how well is your page optimized for that target keyword. And what I mean by that is if you look here, again, the target key phrase here is DTF printer. And if you look at the title of every single one of these pages, DTF printer, DTF printers, DTF printer, direct to film, DTF printer, beginner friendly DTF printer, DT film printers, DTF printer, DTF, hopefully you get the point so far, DTF printer. And if you look at US Cutter, it's DTF printing. Now, you might think that's a very minor distinction, but from a search perspective, there are different user intents or different search intent based on the keyword or phrase that's used. So something like somebody typing in DTF printing maybe looking to learn more about the topic. What is it? How does it work? Somebody typing in DTF printer is likely looking at the product itself. So that is and you can see the primary key phrase that, if I remove my video here, the primary key phrase that US Cutter is ranking for on this page is DTF printing supplies. And if you look here again, 150 searches per month for this, whereas DTF printer, 71,000 searches per month. And again, why I mentioned initially that they are very likely leaving potentially millions of dollars on the table is because you look at the traffic here. They have 19 visitors to this page each month. And you look at the top ranking sites, 10,000, 9,600, 5,600. And if we go to that page itself, you can see here, these products are $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 per unit. Some of these are $20,000 plus. So if you are getting 10,000 people to your site or page each month, and you convert 0.5% or 1%, that is 6 or 7 figures in revenue every single month, potentially based on this pricing and conversion rates, things like that. So back to this. Now, the biggest thing then, like I said, is making sure your page is optimized for what you want to rank for. So if you look at the title, that would be step one, is make sure your title is optimized for the primary key phrase. And because this page would match that user intent of DTF printer or DTF printers, it would absolutely make sense to change this. This is very likely, let's double check. This should be an H1. And it is. So that is good. So H1, and then what is DTF printing is probably H2. Yep. So I would strongly recommend, from an SEO perspective, to have this be optimized as DTF printer. Same thing with the title. And again, just to confirm here, show you the title and the description. So if you look here at the title of this page is DTF printing. And then if we look at the description, should be, let's just do a Control F. This is not the actual SEO description. Oh, here it is. So the keyword content, here's the description. Content is this: direct to film. Let me highlight this so we can read it easily. Direct to film printing supplies, printers, and other equipment specialized for DTF printing. So they do have, again, they don't even have DTF printer or printers in the description. So another gap from an optimization perspective that I would recommend cleaning up. Now, how else or what else can you do to figure out what keywords and phrases this page should be optimized for? There are a couple different ways to do this. And if you have a keyword research tool like Ahrefs, what you can do is click on the keyword itself, and then you'll get into this section here. Click on View All to see all keyword ideas. And here you have a list of 3,571 keywords. And this is where and why this is so important and so exciting for a brand like this. There are 154,000 people searching for DTF printer related terms every single month, 279,000 global searches. And again, as I've said in multiple videos, some of these keywords will not make sense for you to focus on, but you have a list here of over 3,500 keywords. So something like Epson or other brand terms, or if it's a product number or product type that you don't have, then that's totally fine. Do not include that content on your site then. You don't want to be optimized for something that doesn't match user intent. But at the same time, if you do have keywords or products that match these keywords, then having a page, either a dedicated page optimized to that phrase or keyword, or including this content on your main page, is going to make it easier for you to rank for the keywords and phrases you want to rank for. Now, a couple things from a content perspective that you can do. One is add content on the page, have an overview section here like this. And then what you can do is at the bottom of the page, include additional content about the topic. And the other thing I would highly recommend, especially from an AI ranking perspective, is as we go back here and we look at the question section here. In here, you can see 200 keywords with 4,800 searches per month, 6,900 searches globally related to questions. And questions work extremely well to rank in AI. So what you would do is put the question in there. What is a DTF printer? Put an answer in there and answer it immediately and briefly, and then make sure it's marked up with structured data text in the code on your website to make it very easy for search, but whether it be organic search or AI search, to understand the question, the answer, and that you're an authority on this topic. And the other thing here is there are 200 keywords that are mentioned here from a question perspective based on this tool. Again, this is one tool, and this does not include any of the highly sophisticated or more long tail searches that people are doing very likely every single day, either with voice search or with additional modifiers. So as an example, somebody might type in a specific keyword or phrase related to the product number, how to do DTF printing on the product ABC123, or how can a DTF printer work for this application, something like that. So making sure that you're including as many of those questions and answers as makes sense for you for your market would be something where you can not only rank better in search and get more traffic from there, but get AI traffic as well. And that is a massive potential for you. Now, let's say you don't have access to Ahrefs, SEMrush, or any other keyword tool. The other way to do this would be using something like ChatGPT. And I've done a couple prompts in here that we can look at. So let's just pretend that you just have GPT. So a prompt that I was testing that can work is something like this. I want to rank a category page of DTF printers. What are recommended headings, so H1 to H3, I should use? Also, what are some highly transactional keywords or phrases I should include in the content itself? And then lastly, how long should my content be? Now, from a content length perspective, there are a couple different ways you could figure this out. And we'll look at the prompt here in a second. But the main thing to think about is what is currently ranking, and look at and reverse engineer those types of websites so that we can get an idea as to what is currently ranking and what search engines want to see from that perspective. So if we look here at the results here, here's a framework. Recommended headings H1 to H3. So include one H1, DTF printers for professional printing would be your primary, or simply put DTF printers for sale, something like that. And you could even shorten it as well to DTF printers if you wanted to. H2s, what is a DTF printer? Benefits, compare our best selling, key features, packages and bundles, and then FAQ, like I mentioned as well. And then H3s, these would be nested underneath H2s. So again, from a content perspective, and if you're unsure what H1, H2, H3 is, it's just code that goes on the website to delineate the importance of a keyword or phrase to a search engine, basically. And in most cases, from a visual perspective, H1 is going to be the largest text. H2 should be the next largest, generally. H3 would be the next largest, and then you'd have paragraph or regular body copy or content that would be regular size. So that is the delineation there. Now, if we go back to the page here, here are some highly transactional keywords or phrases to include within the content. Buy DTF printer, DTF printers for sale. And this is where ChatGPT falls short sometimes with some of these keywords or phrases, because some of these phrases here look relatively, there's not much value to having order DTF printer online or DTF printer deals in some cases, especially if there's no search volume. So this is where a keyword research tool would really help, because then you get an idea as to what keywords and phrases are actually being searched. And then right here, it says ideal content length as well. It says for a category page, aim for 800 to 1200 words, enough to cover brand signals, FAQ, keyword variations. Concise, so it doesn't feel like a blog post. Keep the first 200 to 300 words tight and keyword rich, since Google often pulls that into snippets. And again, the structure I would recommend, and that works extremely well for brands and sites like this, is overview content here, like I said, and then at the bottom of the page is where you would put additional content here and FAQ section and additional internal links, things like that. And then what I had asked too is, would it make sense to use DTF printing as my title? And the reason for that is, let's say you're just getting started doing this yourself and you're wondering if DTF printing would be a good title for a keyword like this. So if you look here, it says when it would make sense. It would make sense if it is a page about the product or service. So like I mentioned initially, if your site or page is intended to just provide information and not intended to be transactional or conversion focused, then having that as a key phrase that you're optimized for would make much more sense. But you always want to, again, match the user intent of what the search or the keyword is. And then it says here, you're targeting informational searches like what is DTF printing, how does it work, or printing services, if you're selling printing services, why it may not work for a category page selling printers. If your main transactional keyword is DTF printers, not DTF printing. So people searching for that are often looking for services, tutorials, or info, like I said. So best approach here could be something like this. DTF printers for sale, buy them online, or best if you wanted to. Some brands don't want to include or mention that they are the self-proclaimed best, even if they might be. DTF printers, packages, bundles, and deals. And then create a separate page about DTF printing to target all those keywords. Because if we look here as a quick note, let's do a search for DTF printing and see. So for DTF printing, all terms here, there are 1,286 keywords, 35,000 searches per month, 108,000 global. So still opportunity here to rank for this keyword. But again, remember, it's different intent than DTF printer. And then lastly here, create a separate page, like I said. So the major focus here would be making sure that you're optimized for the keyword or phrase that makes most sense for your page and page type, so that you can work to rank and provide that expected experience as somebody comes to your site. So hopefully you got some value from this video. My goal here was just to explain a little bit more about the process that goes into figuring out and mapping a keyword to a page so that you can be best optimized for a keyword or phrase, especially if there's massive revenue potential. And if not, then we're still mapping pages that make sense to a keyword or phrase for informational or navigational intent as well. If you got some value from this video, subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. And I plan to continue posting more videos like this, going into keyword research, SEO strategy, and how industrial manufacturing style brands can really move to the next level in terms of SEO and AI rankings. And that's it. I'll see you in the next one.